see the immense value this game offers compared to other full-price garbage these days, I feel bad for you, son.
It is one of the very best video games ever made.
This might vary from person to person, like depending on what your tastes are in games, but hey man, I really don't have many bad things to say about this game.
I absolutely love this game. Every single one of you should buy it. Spend your hard-earned money on this because there are so few games out this like they're at this quality level.
When I say Rockstar Games, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Well, yeah, for 1% of you it might be something negative. For the overwhelming majority of people, it'll be a game like Grand Theft Auto, Red Dead Redemption, maybe even Max Payne. Rockstar Games have completely revolutionized both the quality and blueprint of what video games are today. And if we're talking about quality and not cutting any corners, Rockstar Games is about as good as it gets. If we're talking about not holding back on political views in gaming, again, Rockstar is about as good as it gets. See, we live in a world today where everyone wants to play it safe, because quite often they're afraid of what might happen if they don't. But every once in a while, you'll get someone who does the opposite. They'll speak their mind and accept the criticism that may follow. Rockstar has made a living out of this exact mindset, and as a result, they're one of the biggest and most well-respected developers in the world. So, how did two brothers who knew very little about video games create one of the most successful gaming companies in the world? Let's take a look. During the mid-1990s, Dan and Sam Houser were hired at a music label called BMG Interactive. And after the executive producer of the label saw that they had some good ideas, he transferred them to the publishing division of BMG, allowing them to work closely in developing video games. In December of 1998, Take-Two Interactive purchased the rights to BMG Interactive, and Rockstar Games was founded in New York City as a subsidiary of Take-Two Interactive, with Sam and Dan being the co-founders. But just before BMG was purchased by Take-Two, the Houser brothers signed a game called Race and Chase to BMG Interactive, and changed the name of the game to, well, let me know if you've heard of this one before, Grand Theft Auto. And it was in 1998 that the first Grand Theft Auto game launched, and it was nothing like the Grand Theft Auto we have today. Instead, it was a top-down game with only 6 levels, where the player's goal was to reach a certain number of points by performing tasks for a local crime syndicate. Players were free to do whatever they wanted, like running people over, crashing into cops, and just causing as much havoc as they want. And the game was an instant bestseller, releasing on the PlayStation 1 and computer. And on the PlayStation alone, the game sold over 1 million copies, which was a massive achievement in 1998. The game had mostly positive reviews, with most outlets giving the game about an 8 out of 10, except for IGN, who gave it a 6 out of 10 for its, quote, really quite shoddy and dated graphics. Good to see some things never change. After the release of Grand Theft Auto, it was clear that Rockstar was a studio on the rise, and smartly, they capitalized on their momentum by releasing a sequel to Grand Theft Auto the following year in Grand Theft Auto 2. The game again sold very well, of course, however, it didn't differ much from the original, and as a result, the reviews weren't as great as the first time around. The average score for the game was around a 7 out of 10, with most media outlets saying that the main saving grace was the game's phenomenal soundtrack. Along with the release of GTA 2 in 1999, Rockstar also expanded their presence across the globe by opening up a studio in Canada, which would eventually become Rockstar Toronto and play a large role in the development of upcoming Rockstar games. 2 years after the launch of GTA 2, Rockstar was back at it again with Grand Theft Auto 3. And this was the first point we really saw Rockstar Games take the stance that would propel them to become one of the biggest gaming studios in the world. Grand Theft Auto 3 was a massive leap forward for gaming as a whole, and completely revolutionized what we now know as open world games. Ditching the top-down camera angle, GTA 3 was a third-person open-world game giving players the ability to travel around the city of New York, or Liberty City as it is in GTA. There was never really an open world game like this before. It was the highest selling game of 2001, and since its release, GTA 3 has sold over 14 million copies. It was critically acclaimed and received very few reviews below 9 out of 10. But we all know Rockstar is bold, and they like to push the boundaries of what may be socially acceptable. This was perhaps the first game that was definitely directed towards a more adult audience. And with that came a lot of controversy. This might have been the beginning of the trend that we still see today that sees people outraged at the violence we have in video games, with more gruesome violence, sex, and the ability to kill civilians being some of the more prevalent features in the game. And how was that received by mainstream media? Well, just take a look.
They're deep into a video game called Grand Theft Auto 3, where players assume the role of an escaped convict who hijacks cars, guns down pedestrians,
Dude.
has sex with a prostitute,
Want me to shoot her? Yes.
then earns extra points by killing her, so he can snatch back his money.
It's as close as you can get to killing someone without being arrested or really killing someone.
On top of some of the media backlash, GTA was based in a fictional New York City in October of 2001, just 1 month after the tragic September 11 attack, which again, as you could imagine, hit a nerve for a lot of people.
They were all dead. The final gunshot was an exclamation mark to everything that had led to this point. I released my finger from the trigger, and then it was over.
GTA 3 wasn't the only Rockstar game that launched in 2001, as they also debuted a new series, Max Payne. A single-player, story-driven game setting you up as a former NYPD detective as you hunted for revenge against those who killed your family. Although the game wasn't a massive hit sales-wise, only ranking 19th in sales for 2001, the game received great reviews of 9 to 9.5 out of 10. And was a great first step for Rockstar in expanding their games beyond just Grand Theft Auto.
So how'd the deal go down? You sitting on some white gold?
Look, Sonny, we were set up. The deal was an ambush. Harry and Lee are dead.
You better be kidding me, Tommy! Tell me you still got the money.
No, Sonny. I don't have the money.
That was my money, Tommy! My money!
Another year and another Grand Theft Auto game, and this year in 2002, Rockstar took the series to Vice City, GTA's imagination of Miami. Despite only being in development for 9 months, Vice City cost over $5 million to develop, and again took the series to new heights, continuing to lead the charge for innovation of open world games. Along with a quote, unparalleled map in Vice City, the game boasted a compelling story, great gameplay, and another outstanding soundtrack. The game again received 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10 reviews across the board, selling 1.4 million copies in the first 2 days. The game broke records set the previous year to become the fastest selling game in history at the time. The next year saw the release of a successful Max Payne sequel, and after seeing that they can definitely have success outside of Grand Theft Auto, Rockstar released another new IP in 2004, with Red Dead, no, not Red Dead Redemption, but Red Dead Revolver, which had been in development for 2 years by another new Rockstar studio in San Diego. While it's somewhat of a spiritual ancestor to the Red Dead games that would come after it, its story wasn't necessarily connected to what would eventually become Red Dead Redemption, with the only similarities between the games really being that they're both Western shooters. Red Dead Revolver received mixed reviews, leading Rockstar to discontinue the Revolver series and mainly direct their focus back to GTA for the next few years. And that was probably a good thing, too, because the GTA game that released that same year is still one of the most popular in the series amongst longtime GTA fans.
Oh shit, here we go again. Worst place in the world. Rolling Heights baller country. Now I ain't represented Grove Street in 5 years, but the ballers won't give a shit.
San Andreas' release was phenomenal, and by many people it's still considered one of the best video games ever made. Set across 3 different cities, San Andreas follows the story of Carl Johnson, or CJ, who returns home to Los Santos after the murder of his mother. Players were given a massive sandbox of vehicles to choose from, with buses, cars, trains, aircraft, boats, tanks, bikes, and more. And while the game was revolutionary, that wasn't even necessarily what made this game so special. It was the characters within it.
Hey, I'll take a number 9, fat boy.
Give me a number 9, just like his. Let me get a number 6 with extra dip. I'll have 2 number 9s, a number 9 large, a number 6 with extra dip, a number 7, 2 number 45s, 1 with cheese, and a large soda.
Like I said at the start of the video, Rockstar has never been a studio to shy away from controversy or portray certain stereotypes, and they definitely didn't shy away from it in San Andreas. And while the stereotype of the hood and African American culture rubs some people the wrong way, the game executed it so perfectly that CJ and the characters involved were impossible not to love. The game was just flat out groundbreaking and set a new standard for games in the future. And if it wasn't for San Andreas paving the way, the games we see today may have been completely different. San Andreas has sold over 30 million copies as a result, but despite all of the positive things I've just said about the game, it continued to add fuel to the growing fire of the violence in video games debate.
That older men were using Grand Theft Auto 3 as a murder and carjacking simulator to train teens on how to do carjackings, and one of the kids said, "We played the game by day and we lived the game by night."
On top of the debate surrounding the violence in the game, modders allowed players to access a secret sex scene that was cut from the final game, but it was still in the game's code. This is still known today as the Hot Coffee mod. And as a result, the game's M rating had to be changed to an 18+ rating, meaning that Rockstar was forced to cease production of the game and re-release it with an adults-only rating.
Smith! I heard the whole thing! You're expelled! Come and untie me, boy!
Yes, sir!
2 years later, in 2006, Rockstar launched another new IP, Bully, swapping the guns and tanks of GTA for slingshots and schoolyard fistfights. It was definitely a different tone for Rockstar to take, and while it was never going to be capable of outselling a Grand Theft Auto game, Bully still sold 1.5 million copies in the first 2 years. And the game still has a really big fan following to this day, with many fans still hoping for a sequel to come out sometime soon. By 2008, Rockstar had expanded all over the world, with studios in London, Leeds, New England, Scotland, Toronto, and Vancouver. And with multiple studios spending multiple years developing a new Grand Theft Auto game, Rockstar was ready to release their new biggest project. Great story, and again raised the bar for the standard of open world games. In the years prior, other publishers began to raise their own standards as well, and the gaming market began to become a lot more competitive, with games like Call of Duty, Far Cry, Fallout, and Assassin's Creed all fighting for a spot in the collection of gamers. But despite the competition, Rockstar's commitment to quality saw Grand Theft Auto 4 receive 10 out of 10s across the board, as well as receiving the second highest average Metacritic score in history at the time. Along with all the features you'd expect in a GTA single player, GTA 4 also introduced multiplayer to the series, allowing players to verse each other in different competitive modes, as well as free roam together, something that hadn't been done before. GTA 4 earned $500 million in the first week, and the game's 4-year development cycle proved to the gaming market that quality is the most important factor of a video game. By 2010, Rockstar was ready to give Red Dead another shot with Red Dead Redemption, and the execution of the game proved once and for all that Rockstar Games really are the kings of the open world. And also that they weren't just restricted to the confinement of setting games in the modern day. Red Dead Redemption took $100 million to develop, which goes to show that they were pretty confident that the risk of another Western shooter would pay off. And it did, receiving 9 to 10 out of 10s once more. In fact, so many people loved it so much that it began to cause a divide within the Rockstar community itself, with there now being fans of Red Dead Redemption as well as fans of Grand Theft Auto, which, if you're Rockstar Games, is probably a pretty good problem to have. Rockstar would spend the next few years releasing less popular but still really well received titles like LA Noire and Max Payne 3. But the entire Rockstar community knew that it was all just leading up to the game that everyone had been waiting for the last 5 years, and it didn't disappoint.
Give it up! I got him! I saw your face, I'll remember you.
You forget 1,000 things every day. How about you make sure this is one of them?
And there it was, Grand Theft Auto 5. The amount of hype built up around this game was unlike any game that I'd seen before. The pre-release advertising was executed pretty much to perfection, and GTA 5 earned over $1 billion in the first 3 days after its release. And to be honest, it's easy to see why. Grand Theft Auto 5 ditched the single protagonist, instead opting for 3 playable characters, each with their own unique story and abilities. The game's graphics trumped every Rockstar game before it, and it set players in Los Santos, GTA's fictional version of Los Angeles. And even if you didn't like the game, it was hard to argue that this was one of the most immersive open worlds ever created. At the time, it really felt like you were in the streets of LA. Unsurprisingly, the game again received 10 out of 10s across the board, with many people saying it was the best game ever made. And while the story mode was fantastic and incredibly immersive, it was only step 1 in what Grand Theft Auto 5 would become. Because a couple weeks after its release, we were introduced to Grand Theft Auto Online. And while the online mode suffered from pretty severe bugs for the first month, it was truly groundbreaking. It set full lobbies of players free to do whatever they liked in the massive open sandbox of Los Santos. There were missions, races, activities, and more, as well as giving players the ability to buy apartments, garages, and vehicles. It was almost like a second life. There was nothing like it at the time, and it once again pushed the limits of what we even thought was possible at the time. But once again, a GTA game can't just release without any controversy, with even more people outraged at the violence portrayed within the game. And it even led the game to be banned at certain retail stores here in Australia, which, to be honest, as an Australian, was pretty disappointing to see. On top of the ever-ongoing debate within violence in video games, Rockstar was also hammered with multiple lawsuits, including one from Lindsay Lohan, as she believed that the famous loading screen bikini girl was based off of her. Yeah, you can definitely see the similarities there, yeah. With only GTA Online updates for the next few years, players slowly began to lose interest in Grand Theft Auto 5. And Rockstar would make us wait another 5 full years for the release of their next game. And the long wait sparked a debate within the community as to whether the next Rockstar game should be another GTA or another Red Dead Redemption. And once we found out what that game was gonna be, which was Red Dead Redemption 2, there wasn't any doubt if this game would be spectacular. Rockstar had proven that they wouldn't settle for anything less. So the hype train begun. Not only did Red Dead 2 bring all of the things you'd expect from Rockstar, but it brought some of the most amazing graphics and beautiful environments we've ever seen in a game, which I'm sure a lot of people didn't really expect. Along with that, it gave players a lot more freedom to approach the game as they wanted, with optional events and side missions that felt more than just throwaway missions that you only really do for XP. It was nothing short of yet another masterpiece. And with the recent release of Red Dead Online, it looks like Rockstar is going to be dedicated to this game for a while to come. As of today, Rockstar is the king of the open world. However, there is a growing concern within the community around the microtransactions that continue to pop up throughout both GTA and Red Dead Online. Because throughout the past few years, GTA Online, well, I don't want to say it's destroyed, but it's not what it once was. Ever since the introduction of things like shark cards, as well as things like futuristic vehicles. But pushing all of that aside, pretty much every Rockstar fan is now left with the question, what's next? And as of right now, Grand Theft Auto 6 isn't much more than just a rumor. And while there's no doubt it's coming, everyone just wants to know when, because it's now been 6 years since the release of GTA 5. But one thing's for sure, the game is gonna be a masterpiece because Rockstar has proven time after time that making one good game is much more successful than making a lot of bad ones. So whenever that game does release, it will sell and it'll break the records of pretty much every game that's come before it. And I personally can't wait. So thanks for watching, guys. I really do hope you enjoyed going through the rise of Rockstar with me. And if you've made it this far, I really can't tell you how much it would mean to the channel if you could just give this video a thumbs up, because that'll help the videos I make reach more people like you. Also, if you're new, feel free to subscribe for more videos like this one, as well as guides and discussion videos as well. So have a great day, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace!